The friend zone. Oh, darkness, my old friend. All too familiar place. Let's watch it casually explain.
So, fundamentally, the friend zone is a bit of a relationship purgatory where, although it's not exactly gender exclusive, it's more often than not when a guy's sexual interest in a girl is met with only platonic friendship. And realistically, it's totally fine for a girl to like a guy's personality but not really be interested in a relationship. The trouble usually comes from the fact that a lot of the time, guys don't even realize they've been friend zoned.
And this can happen for a lot of reasons, but sometimes, even though a girl might not be interested, a guy can misinterpret the signal she's giving off and get too attached. So if you're a girl, try to avoid being in the same room, looking in our general direction, or winking both eyes at the same time.
Yeah, basically, try not to do all that. But I do agree with something he said. He said a lot of the times guys don't even realize they're in the friend zone. And I believe the reason why is because when a guy becomes friends with a girl, typically speaking, that's not his end goal. So I think there's just that miscommunication of intentions. The guy is interested in a girl, and the girl thinks that this guy just wants to be friends with her, which to most guys is pretty much impossible. And this is part of the reason why I believe girls and guys can't be friends, save for a few instances. I'll get more into it in a future video, but I do believe that girls and guys can't be friends.
And sometimes, if a guy really doesn't get it, you might have to clearly tell him that you're only friends, or he's probably going to end up with hurt feelings at one point or another.
And that's one of the reasons girls tend to want to give in regards to why they want to be just friends with a guy. The whole, I don't want to hurt his feelings, he might be destroyed if I tell him that, I'm not interested in him. From personal experience that I experienced in high school, it's so much better if you just communicate that, hey, I see that you're kind of interested in me, like romantically, but I'm not really there. That's not where my head is at. Maybe I got the wrong signals, but I thought I'd just communicate that with you, just in case that's where your head was at. It's so much better to do that, but what tends to happen is the girl holds those words in and just not tell the guy that that's how she feels for any number of reasons. One, because of the whole attention thing. Like, girls typically want attention from guys, and if this guy is just coming to her with all this attention unconditionally, she's going to like that and she's going to entertain that, and it's going to be like a boost to her ego. It reminds me of a video that I saw on YouTube, and like an illustration that it gave where there was a girl who was sipping on the guy's love that she was giving her just to boost her own ego. That's one of the reasons why girls tend to not tell guys that they're not interested in them, but will entertain them as friends or orbiters. The other thing being the whole hurt feelings thing, which is more harmful than it is good. And what that tends to result in is the girl starts to string the guy along, raising his hopes, giving him little hints as to indicate her interest in him. And what that does, it communicates the wrong signal to the guy who's friends with this girl. It communicates to him that this girl actually might be interested in I'm doing it again. Interested in him romantically, which is the direct opposite of what she wants to communicate. And so it's more harmful to you, the girl, and more harmful to the guy who you're stringing along and playing with his emotions. And I can say all this because I was in that exact same situation in high school where I was in love with a very beautiful girl. And lots of guys liked her, but then she didn't really convey that much interest in any of them. But when I became friends with her, she'd tell me all these things like, this guy, he likes me, what, I hate him so much, which I didn't really buy 100%, because one moment she'd be like,
Oh, I hate him.
the other moment she'd be like,
Oh, he's my friend.
and it reached a point where I asked her out 4 times to go with her for a high school prom. And she kept giving a different reason every single time. And I asked her 4 months before the actual prom was actually set to take place. And when it reached time for the prom to actually take place, and I asked her the last time, she was like, ex-guy, who was the guy she claimed to hate with all her being. She said no, and then she was like, he asked me first 2 months ago, and I had asked her 2 times before, 2 months before that, and I'd asked her 2 more times after that. I probably should have seen something like that coming, but I didn't know any better. I mean, I was 16, and that was one of like my first experiences with a girl. So by that time, my brother was working out of town, and I couldn't really come back home and ask him, hey, yo, I have this girl that I like. What do you think I should do? I didn't have him there for me. So I pretty much had myself, and I had to decide the best thing I had to do. And you can imagine how badly that went. I think it's also imperative for guys to also equip themselves with the knowledge of like female nature and to know the kinds of things that girls do when they're trying to friend zone someone. And really, it's your job as a guy to figure out when a girl is doing that, and you do that by gathering information on female nature, which is why the red pill community is essential, I would say, to a certain dosage. I feel like if you get too much into that, you get into a very dark place.
Like I was recently at Starbucks and there was a really cute girl taking my order, so we chatted for a second and she asked for my name to write on the cup. Then when I got my drink, I saw that my name had 2 hearts around it. And that was honestly one of the best feelings of my life, and I was about to say something when I saw that she also drew a couple of hearts for a guy named Aaron right behind me.
I have a guy I know from high school. His favorite saying or a quote that he likes to say a lot goes something like, know your place in someone's life before you get hurt expecting too much. If he's watching, please type the actual quote down so that I can pin it so that people can see it. Yes, I'm talking to you, Sim.
Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering if you're in the friend zone right now, and it usually progresses in stages, so you can see which one you might fall into. The first stage is denial, which is believing you aren't in the friend zone. The second stage is anger, which is coming to the realization that maybe you are. The third stage is bargaining, which is begging to take her on a date even though she's always showing you pictures of other guys.
Oh my god, bro. This describes 16, 17-year-old me so perfectly, bro. For people who know me, they know that I absolutely love volleyball. Especially back then, I used to love volleyball. I mean, I still do now. But, that's besides the point. What happened was, it was around March 2018, and this girl that I was talking about earlier, she had started to ghost me. I don't know how I didn't get the message at that point. Then I double texted her after 2 months, and then she responded. She was like, oh, I don't always have time to respond to every text. I was pretty down atrocious at that time, but I could even see through that. Like, come on, 2 months and you're saying you didn't have time to reply. But being down bad as I was, I kept texting her. And what ended up happening was we were going for like holiday lessons. At that time, I was in lower 6. So we were having holiday lessons, and, I was just chilling with the guys one time, and I was talking to her on the phone. Yeah, by that time, she had transferred to another school. So we decided to send her a voice note like, oh, you didn't come back, you betrayed us, what. And then she's like, oh, sorry, I'll make it up to you, maybe we can hang out sometime. And then we were like, oh, it's fine, we can just like find a Saturday where we just meet up and like chill. Most of these guys were my friends where I was recording the voice note with. They were my teammates from volleyball. And so at one point in like May, June, there was like a volleyball tournament that we had. Seeing as it was happening on a Saturday, I decided to be like, hey, we have a volleyball tournament at St. George's. Do you want to come? She's like, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to come. I'll have so much schoolwork to do. I'll see if I can come. What I said next, yeah, I can't say it now. Oh my days, just remembering it makes me cringe so much. I'll probably get into that story in full in a future video, probably not on this channel. I know it's a wild tangent, sorry, but if you're still here, you're a G, so this is your reminder to like the video. So
The fourth stage is depression, which is realizing she was showing you those pictures because she thought you were gay. And finally, the fifth stage is acceptance, which is realizing that one of them's pretty cute and what do you have to lose? Now, the most important question of all is, can you get out of the friend zone?
Let's touch a bit into that question. Can you get out of the friend zone? Technically, you can, but it's not in your best interest to get out of the friend zone. Because if the girl wasn't attracted to you before, there's nothing that's going to magically change that. Even if you like develop yourself into maybe invest into your body or you start doing things to make yourself successful in life, if she would see that you've actually improved from the last time that she interacted with you, that you've improved, you've become more successful, or you've developed yourself into the best version of yourself, even if she's kind of swayed by that, it feels kind of manufactured, or it's artificial, and it's not really because she really liked you in the first place. So I believe you can get out of the friend zone, but it should be in your best interest not to.
And interestingly, not too long ago, I was reading that a few psychologists at Penn State actually compiled a practical guide for men to get out of the friend zone. It looks like this. Of course, the first thing is identifying you're actually in the friend zone, then you execute the following steps. Step 1, be more attractive.
For me, even if I wanted to get out of the friend zone, just based on that alone, it's life 10, me 0 at that point.
It's worth mentioning, while this guide is certainly effective, it can be kind of difficult to implement and at least takes a bit of time. So one last piece of advice I was given a while ago was, if you're ever in doubt, ask the girl out. The logic being that she either says yes, and that's great, or she says no and you have your answer.
That's some pretty good advice. Comment down atrocious if you're still here, or like your thoughts on the video, whether you agree or disagree. I don't know, I can control